Have you ever felt like you had a heavy cloud over you that wouldn't lift? It could be loneliness, anxiety, or sadness. Anyone can feel these strong feelings, even the strongest ones. But even though the ancient Stoics were known for being very tough and brave, they also felt sad or lonely sometimes. What did they do that made them different? It wasn't that they didn't feel these things, it was how they dealt with them in real life, which is what this video is all about. We'll look at 12 Stoic methods that can help you turn these difficult feelings into chances to grow and think about yourself. You can think of these treatments as tools in your Stoic toolbox. Each one has its own purpose to help you heal your spirit, get through hard times, and feel better. Remember that, like the Stoics, you have the inner strength to face your feelings head-on and come out better. This is true whether you're feeling alone, overwhelmed, or just stuck. If you're ready to start a new story where those feelings are tasks you know how to handle, then stay the course. We'll look at these tried and true ways to not only get by, but also to grow. Number 1, move around. Moving your body isn't just a way to get fit. It's also a key way to fight sadness and loneliness. You can think of it as a chat with your inner self. Each movement makes you stronger and more resilient. You're not running away from your problems when you walk, run, or stretch. Instead, you're consciously walking toward a clearer, more peaceful state of mind. This process is about writing a story of how you overcame something. Every step you take and breath you take adds to your personal story of rebirth. Real talk. When you're sad or lonely, you might want to curl up and shut the world out. You may not know this secret, but your body is really strong and can fight back against these ghosts. When you move, you light a spark inside you that shines a light in the darkest parts of your thoughts. You don't have to climb mountains or run races to be healthy. Just move with purpose. Whether you dance by yourself in your living room or go for a fast walk in the park, every move you make is a blow against the chains of hopelessness. It's a message that you are in charge and can make your own way to happiness and healing. Number 2, take better care of yourself. It might sound like a new take on old advice to treat yourself as your best friend, but it's a powerful way to fight loneliness and sadness. Imagine for a moment that you are facing a steep walk up life's mountain, with many problems that seem impossible to solve. Would you scold a friend for going down this road? Or would you lend them a hand, say something positive, and believe in their ability to get through it? In old Stoic philosophy, there was a person named Clintus who once heard a soul talking to itself as if it were talking to a stranger. "Remember, you're not talking to a bad person," Clintus said, cutting through the circle of loneliness and self-criticism with the sharpness of kindness. This isn't just a story from the past. It's a reflection of our own struggles, where being alone makes us hate ourselves, and that dislike pushes us farther away from the comfort of human interaction. Being friends with yourself isn't about false comforts or sweet nothings. It's about being honest about how much you're worth. When you're about to feel like you're not good enough, remember what was said on the streets of Athens. Negative self-talk keeps us from finding love and connection. It has to do with changing the script in your mind from enemy to friend. You're not a bad person, you're a person, which means you're complicated and can grow. Realizing this is the key to not only loving yourself, but also letting other people see your light. This Stoic cure has been around for a long time and is still very wise. It tells you to be the friend to yourself that you would want in others. Number 3, feel better more often. Going after your dreams and making them come true can feel like a never-ending search for happiness, with times of success interspersed with a constant need for more. This never-ending search often keeps us from seeing how beautiful the present moment is, which creates a paradox where success makes us unhappy. This is a story that repeats itself over and over again in the stories of people who have been famous but now feel empty inside. For example, consider the story of an actor who, despite being praised for his work on a popular TV show, was stuck in a web of anxious dissatisfaction and longed for more fame in the movie business. His experiences show a deep truth. We are most likely to be happy when we have a good relationship with ourselves, not when we get praise or accomplishments. Being happy means focusing on the present and being thankful for where we are without constantly comparing ourselves to others or wanting what they have. Understanding that the search for more can often take us away from the happiness we seek is at the heart of this poem. This method doesn't just help with sadness or loneliness, it changes the way we see things by teaching us to value the present and find happiness in the ease of being rather than the difficulty of doing. Number 4, look down from above. Imagine standing on a piece of land you claim as your own and feeling how big it is. Then, from the window of a spaceship or plane, you see how big it really is. Suddenly, something that seemed limitless turns out to be just a dot in the middle of an endless fabric. People have known this for a long time. Even Marcus Aurelius, who ruled a kingdom that covered the known world, understood how important it was to zoom out. He thought of his rulers' fights on the edges as small fights between ants over a crumb. The way this lens shows things makes us remember that life cycles, the rise and fall of generations, and the never-ending dance of human nature are not new to our time. Our own problems, the big events we think happened, are just echoes in a story that will never end. By looking at things from a higher angle, we learn that our biggest fears are usually not as big as we think they are, and that the little things that don't seem important connect us to a universal human experience. It's a call to see things in a bigger picture and find comfort, respect, and clarity in the knowledge that we are a part of something much bigger, a story that has been told for thousands of years. This new way of looking at things doesn't make our experiences less important. Instead, it ties us to the vastness of life itself. It urges us to find meaning in both the big and the small things, and it shows us the strength and resilience that have always been at the heart of the human spirit. Number 5. Learn to suffer with other people. There is a deep power and magic in working together to get through tough situations, whether it's climbing a mountain, rowing against the mist in the morning, or sitting in silence with a group of people who are having a hard time focusing. These kinds of activities, which are very different from the solo challenges of running or swimming, bring people together in ways that go beyond friendship. They tell us that we are not fighting our battles by ourselves, but with other warriors who share our spirit. Think about how strong it is to look into the eyes of someone else who is just as driven and vulnerable as you are and is pushing through the pain barrier. This is where real community starts, in the heat of a group task, not in the comfort of an easy win. Let this be a call to action. Join forces with those who want to not only survive, but also triumph together, because it is in the fire of shared hardship that we find our real strength. That way, we will never have to face the darkness by ourselves. Number 6. Get help. Being brave doesn't just mean going into war by yourself. It also means knowing when to ask for help. Even the strongest fighters knew how important it was to have a shield wall next to them when they were facing the storm. For those who feel like the weight of the world is too much to bear, Marcus Aurelius once said, "Don't be ashamed to need help. Like a soldier storming a wall, you have a mission to accomplish, and if you've been wounded and need a comrade to pull you up, so what?" This ancient wisdom is still true today. In this case, it's not a call to fight alone, but to find your company or group of people who are ready to fight with you. That's not what makes you strong, having the guts to reach out and help someone else. If you think of support groups as recovery circles, those are the places where people who are at their weakest find power not from a hierarchy, but from working together and helping each other. It shows how strong group resolve can be and is a place where Stoics are made, not born. You're not less important because you're asking for help. Even kings have been on this path of wisdom. Every voice that begs for help and every hand that is raised in unity is a step out of the darkness and into the light. All at once. Number 7. Follow your way. It's not enough to know where you want to go to make your way in this busy world. You also need to be disciplined enough to stay on track and not get lost in the noise. Seneca taught us about emia, which means being aware of our trip without being distracted by the many other paths that cross it. We can remember from this old saying that the real challenge is not planning our path, but staying on track when the successes and mistakes of others tempt us to stray. It tests our self-confidence and control by making us stick to our plans and goals without getting sidetracked by the many things that come up in our daily lives. If we choose this road, we have to recognize that everyone's journey is different, including our own. When we stop comparing our accomplishments to those of others, we find a deep sense of meaning and happiness. Realizing this isn't easy. You have to keep working at it to get past your ego and the constant need for approval. But the reward is not having to compare ourselves to others, which lets us follow our goals without fear or doubt. Focusing on our path not only helps us see life more clearly, but it also makes us stronger, which protects us from the loneliness and sadness that come from feeling like we're not on the same page as everyone else. Number 8. Remember that things change over time. As Marcus Aurelius pointed out, life has a funny way of leveling the playing field so that the effects of our actions become muffled over time. The last place that even Julius Caesar and the most humble Roman citizen will be buried is the same. This is a powerful warning that our hopes for fame, importance, or immortality are but fleeting whispers in the ear of eternity. Sic transit gloria tells us about history and shows us that glory is only a visitor and not a permanent resident. Fame and the false sense of importance can all lull us to sleep with promises of eternal life, but they can also leave us lost in the shadows of forgetfulness. This knowledge doesn't make us hopeless. Instead, it tells us to ground our efforts not in the sands of praise, but in the land of virtue, to be more kind, to focus on the good things we can do right now, and to keep our eyes on guiding our own ship through life's rough seas. These are the lights that help us find our way through the fog of change. In the end, it's not the crowd's cheers that make the deepest holes in the river of time. It's the goodness of our deeds and the honesty of our character. Number 9. Accept problems. You shouldn't run away from problems, setbacks, challenges, or heartaches. They're all signs from the universe that you need to prove your strength and fight fate. Through the ages, Seneca's words have been heard. The path less traveled, which is full of hardship, is where we find our true selves. It's nice to sail along quiet waters, but it's the storms that bring out the captain in all of us. You might want to wallow in sadness when things in life don't go the way you want them to, but it's these trials, the friction and pushback we face, that make us better people. When things are really tough, when plans fall apart, and when our dreams seem far away, that's when we're given a great chance. Wishing for an easy life isn't the point. The point is to embrace the chaos, fight it, and come out stronger and smarter. Accept this. Let every trial teach you how to be strong, a chance to practice virtue and a step toward being the best you can be. Keep in mind that the sweet taste of victory is never as satisfying without the bitter taste of battles won and problems solved. Life doesn't always go the way you want it to, but you should still dance because that's when you become stronger and happy. Number 10. Don't hold back your feelings. Feeling down or alone can be like carrying a rock on your shoulders. But remember that even the smartest people in the past had to deal with things that were so big they seemed impossible to handle. With his pen as his sword, Seneca wrote 4 moving essays that were meant to not only speak to the mind, but also embrace it in its darkest hours. It wasn't just words, they were lifelines thrown into the rough waters of human feeling. He taught us something very important that is still true today. Don't lock up your feelings and throw away the key. It's not about putting on a mask of indifference. It's about recognizing the storm of feelings and riding it out, not as a prisoner but as a master. To be truly strong, you need to know that it's okay to feel sad and that human relationships are complicated. Understanding why you're sad is the first step. Mind and heart are dancing with each other, and each one takes the lead when the time is right. When the weight of loneliness or sadness feels too much to bear, remember that you're not being told to shut down your heart. Instead, you're being told to listen to it, understand it, and know that sometimes the way through isn't through pushing it down, but through acceptance and understanding. Number 11. Try to be still. It might seem like an old secret to find stillness in a world that is always talking, scrolling, and moving. But it's good for you, especially when you're feeling lonely or sad. Imagine that you are a rock in the middle of a rough ocean. Marcus Aurelius thinks that it's not about ignoring the chaos, it's about finding your center in the middle of it. The waves of worry, doubt, and loneliness hit you hard. Take a deep breath, calm your mind, and firmly put your feet on the ground. This stillness isn't just a break. It's where the magic happens, where ideas bloom, relationships grow, and happiness rises to the surface. You will have the strength to face the world, not as it spins around you, but as you choose to interact with it. When you accept stillness, you don't just get through the storm, you learn how to dance with the waves, which can turn times of loneliness and sadness into times of deep peace and purpose. Number 12. Don't fight the way things are. Though life is busy, it's easy to get lost in a sea of what-ifs and if-onlys. But accepting things as they are is a strong way to fight the loneliness and depression that often come with our never-ending search for different outcomes. This isn't about giving up or giving in to despair. It's about seeing the secret harmony in the chaos, the unexpected lessons in the disappointment, and the strength that comes from accepting that life is unpredictable. We can feel a deep sense of peace and clarity when we accept the present moment as it is, not as we wish it were. This point of view isn't about being passive. It's a call to action, to deal with life as it comes, to find our meaning and happiness in the way things are happening around us. Think of your life as a stream. You can swim against the stream, getting tired as you try to get to the past or the future too quickly, or you can float and trust the journey while enjoying the view. This is what amor fati, or love of fate, is all about. It teaches us to appreciate every turn and twist in life because each one shapes us into the people we are meant to be. A voice from the past, Marcus Aurelius, speaks to us through time and space, telling us to understand that whatever we add to the fire of our lives, happiness, sadness, victory or defeat, fuels our growth and shows us the way to greatness. When we see our events not as problems, but as chances to learn and grow, we build resilience and a deep, lasting happiness. Don't just think about the idea. Put it into practice too, and watch yourself change. These Stoic cures are more than just words. They're a plan for a life full of strength and deep happiness. Accept the knowledge that has been around for thousands of years and see how it changes your life. Click here to watch 7 types of people Stoicism praises. See you there in a second. Be stoic. Stay stoic.